I'm going to be creating the greatest team in NHL history, and this team is going to be made up of superstars from today's NHL. So basically all the best players that you see in the NHL currently, they are probably on this roster, and they are going to go up against the competition from 2007, 2008. So we have the Gen Z players up against whatever the hell the mid-2000 players are called, and we are going to see how many Stanley Cups this roster can win in a much different era than they currently play in. And this is really going to settle the debate of which era is better from the NHL, either the mid-2000s or the early 2020s with guys like McDavid, Matthews, McKinnon, all of those great superstars. So let's go ahead, take a look at the roster, see what we are working with here. So here we are. We have Team Gen Z on the first line. We have Leon Draisaitl with Connor McDavid and David Pastrnak. On the second line, we got Matthew Tkachuk, Nathan McKinnon, and Elias Pettersson. Our third line is going to consist of Sebastian Aho, Alexander Barkov, and Mark Stone. And finally, for the fourth line, we are rocking with Mikko Rantanen, Jack Eichel, and Nico Hischier. That is a very, very good forward core, probably the best in the entire NHL, obviously. But I mean, those are the superstars of the 2020s currently. Defensively, we have Miro Heiskanen and Cale Makar, Adam Fox and Rasmus Dahlin, Quinn Hughes and Charlie McAvoy. That is our D-core, all 90-plus overall players. And for goalies, we are rocking with Connor Hellebuck and Linus Ullmark, I guess. Our third goalie is UC Saros. I believe he might be scratched. Actually, no, he's in the AHL. Regardless, he's a lower overall than Ullmark in this roster. I really got to stop downloading rosters. I mean, the overalls are all over the place. He was an 89 and Ullmark is a 90, so that's the goaltending tandem that we're going with. And basically what we're going to do, boys, is we are going to simulate, I believe, 5 or 6 seasons, see how many Stanley Cups we can win. Hopefully we do go 5 for 5 as we should. I mean, our roster is literally an all-star team. And even in an era that is much different than the current era, we should be able to get results, or very good results at that. So before we go ahead with the simulation, if you guys do enjoy videos just like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a single live stream or video that I put out. Also, I will be doing this in franchise mode, so we are most likely probably going to try to pick up players, but I'm going to try to keep the same exact roster for every single season. I'm going to make sure the computer does not sign any free agents in the offseason, and we are going to rock with these same players for 5 full seasons in NHL 24. So at the end of the very first season together, Zug Gen Z, that is a terrible name. I mean, the Gen Z part's okay, but I don't know why I went with Zug. I don't even know where Zug is at. Regardless, it does not matter. We are going to end up finishing with a record of 64, 14, and 4, 132 points. Obviously, the best in our division and the best in the entire NHL at the moment. Toronto actually came in second place with 50 wins. Buffalo was up there. Washington was good. Ottawa, who I literally just saw play Chicago. By the way, the Blackhawks, if you could imagine, they are literally even worse in real life. They were so garbage that night. Bedard barely touched the puck. I believe he had 1 shot on net. And they literally could do nothing to the Ottawa Senators. And Ottawa is not a great team overall. There was 2 goals scored in the first 5 minutes, and that was it for the entire game. At the bottom, we have the New York Islanders, Vegas, who weren't even a team in 2007. Columbus was down there, and the Montreal Canadiens. I did remove Seattle with our current team of Gen Z players. Now, very interesting that Matthew Tkachuk is going to go ahead and lead our team, and not only, actually no, he's only going to lead in points, but he did have 87 on the season, followed by McDavid, who had 86, Pettersson 84, Pastrnak was up there at 82, McKinnon had an okay season, Makar was all right, I guess. On the goals side, Pasta will lead with 46 on the year. McKinnon had 37, Tkachuk 35, Pettersson 26, and McDavid 25. And if we take a look at Hellebuck, he went 46, 13, and 3, 5 shutouts, and pretty decent stats. Linus Ullmark as a backup was actually very good. He only played 23 games, but was rocking almost a .930 save percentage. Followed by Alexander Ovechkin, who had 114. Alexander Semin had 106. Waugh was up there at 101. Actually, Derek Roy, not Waugh, my bad. Danny Alfredson had a 100-point season. Pavel Datsyuk had 97. Spezza had 93. If we take a look at the goal side, Ovi's going to lead with 54 tucks on the season. Pastrnak had 46. Vanek had 46. DeBrincat, who always manages to get in these simulations, was up there. Semin had 44, Carter 44. Let's see if any of our defensemen were up there. Cale Makar was up there with 66, so 1 behind Kubana, who led all defensemen in scoring with 67th. For goalies, the wins leader is going to be Connor Hellebuck with 46, followed by Ryan Miller and Jose Theodore. On the shutout side, Bobby Lou is going to lead with 7, Hebby Bulin had 6, Brizgalov 6, Garon had 5. And in the first round of the playoffs, we are up against the Nashville Predators, who don't really have the greatest team in 2009. 2008, 2000. And in the first round of the playoffs, we are up against the Nashville Predators, who honestly don't have the greatest team in 2007, so we should be fine to beat them and make a very long playoff run. And no surprise here, as we have made the Stanley Cup Finals, we are up against the Florida Panthers, who honestly, I'm kind of surprised they made it here. They dominated the Devils in 5 games in the conference finals. But let's see if we can go on in season number 1 and win our very first Stanley Cup in our franchise's entire history, which has been only 1 season so far. And the team of Gen Z players are going to go on and win the Stanley Cup in season number 1 as we defeat the Florida Panthers in 6 games in the finals. They were up 2-0 on us in the series, and I was a little worried, honestly, but luckily we came back. And we won 4 straight to not sweep them, but technically rallied away 4 victories. Regardless, it does not matter. We are going to be Stanley Cup champions in year number 1 with a team led from Connor McDavid, Nathan MacKinnon, Leon Draisaitl, and somehow the Conn Smythe is going to go to Jack Eichel instead. 12 goals and 24 points. That is how deep our team is. I probably would name like 5 to 10 players before I even named Eichel. And this guy's going to go on and win the Stanley Cup for our team. And there it is, the Stanley Cup being raised in Florida. I mean, I'm surprised the Panthers even made it to the finals. They did not have the greatest team back then. Not like now, how they're absolutely loaded. Regardless, here is our captain, Nathan MacKinnon. I forgot to make the best player in the world, Connor McDavid, the captain. Regardless, McKinnon's going to come and lift it for the 2nd time in his career. Technically the 1st, because we are back in the year 2007. As the big-ass horse, I believe that is, on our jersey is gonna... I don't even know what I'm saying. Regardless, we are Stanley Cup champions. Now, if we take a look at the playoffs, obviously Eichel is going to lead our team in both goals and points. He had 12 goals and 24 points. Cale Makar had a good playoff run with 20 points. Pasternak at 16, Pettersson 16, Rantanen 14. McDavid only had 4 goals and 14 points in 20 games, which is very bizarre for his standards. And there it is. The Zug Gen Z are going to be your 2007-2008 Stanley Cup champions. Nicholas Backstrom is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Ovi's going to win the Maurice Richard. The Norris will go to Cale Makar. Obviously, the Conn Smythe went to Eichel. Connor Hellebuck is going to win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Anze Kopitar of the LA Kings. And there we go, boys. We got year number 1 down. We are 1 for 1 so far. Hopefully we go 5 for 5 and we don't lose a single Stanley Cup Finals in the entire video, so we can cement ourselves as the greatest unit of hockey players in the history of the game of hockey. So obviously we are going to be rocking with the same exact roster for the entire video. Their overalls are going to fluctuate up and down throughout the entire simulation. Obviously McDavid now is up to a 96. I mean, he should be like a 98. And other players have changed their overalls, but we're going to have the same roster. Hopefully the same exact result as well. Also, I'm going to make Connor McDavid the captain because he is the best player in the world today. Assistants, honestly, I'll go with Nathan MacKinnon. He's won a Stanley Cup before. And on D, I like to have a defenseman as an alternate. I'm going to go with the best defenseman in the world in Cale Makar. There we go. We have our captaincy set, boys. McDavid, MacKinnon, and Makar. So yet again, we are going to have an amazing season going 60, 14, and 8, 128 points. Obviously the best in our division. Our division is the Pacific, so outside of the Oilers, nobody else are really that great. I mean, Vancouver should be a lot better with Bobby Lou and the Sedin sisters. For the entire NHL, we are going to be the best team for back-to-back seasons, followed by Washington, who was great last year as well. Minnesota was good. Edmonton, Boston was up there. The Red Wings have a very, very lethal roster. At the bottom of the NHL, we are rocking with the Arizona Coyotes, Columbus, New York, Vegas again. Montreal was bad. Matthew Tkachuk is again going to lead our team in scoring with 92 points, followed by Pasternak's 90. McDavid had 90. Makar was up there with 84. Mitch Marner had 79. Pettersson had a good season on the goal side for our roster. Pasternak and Tkachuk are going to tie for the most goals with 40, followed by McKinnon's 34. Pettersson at 31. Jack Hughes only 25. We take a look at our goalie. Hellebuck went 44, 11, and 3. 4 shutouts and pretty good stats again. Has been playing like he should be, I guess. Alexander Ovechkin going to lead the entire NHL in goals with 53 and points with 109. Semin had 105. Backstrom 103. That line is absolutely undeniably the best in the entire NHL. For back-to-back seasons now, all 3 of these players have been producing at an elite level. Ray Whitney had 99 points. Alfredson was up there with 96. Eric Stahl had 93. Heatley 93. On the goal side now, other than Ovi, Semin had the most at 48. Pasternak 40. Matthew Tkachuk at 40. Marian Hossa was up there. Kovalchuk had a good season. Ryan Kessler had 35 goals. Cale Makar, again, for the second straight season, is going to trail only the leader for D-man who scored. Mike Green had 87 points. Makar had 84. Brian Campbell was up there with 74. Nicholas Backstrom is going to lead all goalies in wins with 45, followed by Hellbuck's 44. And Samsonov, who had 43, was on Washington. And on the shutout side, Marty Biron is going to tie with Samsonov, who had 7 shutouts apiece. So Washington, look out. They are a juggernaut in the Eastern Conference. We might end up facing them in the finals, honestly. As in the very first round, we are going to face the Vancouver Canucks, who we know notoriously were choke artists during this time. A lot of the time, they were the higher seed, losing to lower seed teams, because they do have the Sedin sisters on the roster, who weren't really the greatest playoff performers ever. And again, for the second straight season, we have made the Stanley Cup Finals up against the New Jersey Devils, who do have a very good roster. Obviously, Martin Brodeur is still their starting goalie. So let's see if we can go back-to-back, starting off the video 2 for 2, winning 2 straight Stanley Cups. And we are going to go back-to-back yet again, winning another Stanley Cup. This time, absolutely demolishing the Devils. We swept them in the finals. It was not remotely close whatsoever. As we have gone back-to-back to start the video, so far so good, as the new generation of players are dominating the old generation. Obviously, the talent is more spread out across the NHL compared to it being compacted into one single team, as Cale Makar is going to go ahead and win the Conn Smythe, 11 goals and 21 points for All Hail Cale, as they call him. He is the best defenseman in the world, and one of the best, I shouldn't say one of the best ever, but I mean, like, to start his career, he's on par with the best defensemen of all time. As there it is, the Stanley Cup yet again being raised to the new gen players, the Gen Z, as here comes our captain, Mr. Connor McDavid, coming to lift the Stanley Cup for the second time in his career, as we have gone back to back. Starting out the video 2 for 2 as Stanley Cup champions, as this is the greatest hockey team ever assembled. Now, for the playoffs, Cale Makar is absolutely going to dominate. I mean, 11 goals as a defenseman is nuts. Also tying for the lead in points alongside Pasternak and Connor McDavid. All three of them would have 21 points in the playoff run. Tkachuk had 16, Pettersson 16, Jack Hughes had 14. Connor Hellebuyck was pretty good as well. 16-3, 1 shutout, a .920 save percentage, which is very good. Connor Hellebuyck was very good as well. I mean, 16-3, 1 shutout. He was rocking a .920 save percentage, which is very good. The new generation of players are still absolutely dominating. We are going to finish the season with a record of 63-13-6, 132 points. Best in our division and the best in the entire NHL, followed by Anaheim. Ottawa was up there. Edmonton was very good, as well as Tampa Bay. Shout out to the Washington Capitals, who have not gotten it done in the playoffs yet, despite having like the best line in all of hockey and 3 of the best players in the entire league. David Pasternak is going to lead our team in goal scoring with 46 and points with 103, followed by Mitch Marner's 89, Makar had 88, Pettersson 87, McDavid only had 86, McKinnon had 78, Adam Fox had a very good season at 75 points, Tkachuk only 69. On the goal side, we had multiple 40-goal scorers in Pasternak and McKinnon. Elias Pettersson had 34, Jack Hughes 33, Tkachuk had 33, McDavid 32, Connor Hellebuyck went 33-5 and 2. Actually, we split the games between Hellebuyck and Ullmark. I mean, Hellebuyck might be decreasing. He's a 90, while Ullmark is a 90 as well. And both of these goalies were really not the greatest. I mean, their stats are okay, I guess. Ullmark didn't even crack a 900 save percentage, and Hellebuyck barely had a 905. Pasternak and Eric Stahl are going to tie for the Art Ross. Technically, Pasternak is going to win it because he had more goals. They each had 103 points. Ovechkin had 102. Backstrom had 98. Whitney was up there at 94. Saku Koivu had 92. Keith Tkachuk had 92. I forgot we have Matthew competing up against his father. And I mean, for this season at least, his father got the better of him. Now, on the goal side, Ovi's going to dominate yet again, this time with 61 on the season, followed by Pasternak's 46. McKinnon had 44. Boys was up there, 43. Jeff Carter had 40. Eric Stahl, 40. Cale Makar is finally going to lead all D-men in scoring, this time with 14 goals and 88 points. Now, for goalies, J.S. Jaguar is going to lead in wins at 46, followed by Guerin's 45. Samsonov at 40. On the shutout side, Mathieu Guerin is going to lead lead with 9 on the season. For the first round, we are going to have a very tough matchup in the San Jose Sharks. Obviously, Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau are still there. Not going to be an easy out whatsoever, but I'm confident in this group that we can make another run. And yet again, we have made the Stanley Cup Finals, finally up against the much anticipated matchup against the Washington Capitals. This is the showdown of all showdowns, the offensive talent that the Capitals have up against the absolute dominance that the new generation players have shown. Let's see who goes on and is going to win the Stanley Cup at the end of year number 3. And the new generation of players are going to three-peat in the 2000s era, as we have just won our 3rd Stanley Cup of the video in 3 seasons. We swept the Capitals in the finals. I mean, the last 2 Stanley Cup Finals, we have not even lost a game. I honestly thought it would be a much tougher series and a bit of a more of a showdown, I guess. But I mean, we just absolutely rolled over those guys. Cale Makar is going to win another Conn Smythe, this time with 3 goals and 31 points. As unfortunately, we have yet to win a Stanley Cup on home ice. Hopefully, we get to do that before the end of the video. Otherwise, I'm going to be upset, as we are in Washington, D.C., about to raise the Stanley Cup for the 3rd time in as many seasons. Here comes McDavid to collect it, as we are proving why we are the greatest hockey team in the history of every hockey team. Again, Cale Makar is going to lead our team in scoring for the playoffs, this time with 31. Pettersson at 23 points, McDavid 21. So it really was not that close. Makar was our best player. Nathan MacKinnon had 12 goals and 19 points. Pasternak had 19, Jack Eichel 19, Rantanen 18. And there it is, the very first three-peat since I believe the Islanders, who won 4 straight in the 80s. David Pasternak is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Ovi's going to win the Maurice Richard. The Norris to Cale Makar, also the Conn Smythe. Shigeru is going to win the Vezina, and the Selke is yet again for a 3rd season in a row going to go to Anze Kopitar. So for season number 4, again, we're going to dominate. I believe having our best record so far, 67 wins, 11 losses, and 4 in overtime, 138 points. Again, we're going to dominate, being the best team. Washington actually went ahead and won 64 games, so they were on our heels. The Red Wings have 58 wins. Anaheim was up there. Ottawa was very good. Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh. Shout out to Cale Makar leading our team in scoring with 92 points, followed by Pasternak, who had 87. Elias Pettersson had 86. Mitch Marner had 81. Matthew Tkachuk was up there at 80. McDavid only 78. So he has not really been performing that well. But I know the guy that did this roster had him starting out at 95, which is diabolical. David is much better than a 95 overall. For goals on our team, Pasta is going to lead with 49. Pettersson actually had 42. McKinnon had 41, so 3 40-goal scorers. Matthew Tkachuk had 31. Barkov 30. McDavid 29. Hellebuck is going to go 47, 5, and 3. 2 shutouts, and not really the greatest stats, honestly. He might be decreasing. He is 33 years old, getting up there in age. Alexander Ovechkin is going to lead in points with 116, followed by DeBrincat, who had 109. Holmstrom had 107. Mike Green was up there with 106, as Ovi's going to lead everybody in scoring with 116, followed by DeBrincat's 109. Holmstrom had 107. Mike Green, as a defenseman, had 106. Phil Pula had 102. Marian Hossa had a good season, as well as Alexander Semin on the goal side. Somehow DeBrincat's going to lead with 63, I guess. Ovi had 59, Pasta 49, Hamilton 48. Solani had 46. For wins now, goaltenders, yeah, Hellebuck was up there. He had the 3rd most at 47, behind Osgood and Samsonov. And for shutouts, Ilya Samsonov will lead with 8. We have the Calgary Flames in the 1st round of the playoffs. So for the 4th season in a row, we are in the Stanley Cup Finals, this time up against the Ottawa Senators, trying to go 4 for 4, 4-peating, tying the Islanders from the 80s. So let's see if we can do that, or will the Ottawa Senators end up upsetting us in the finals? And we have done it. The new generation of players are going to be able to tie the 80s Islanders with 4 straight Stanley Cups, as we finally win it on home ice, beating the Ottawa Senators in 5 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. So they did end up winning 1 game, but that's honestly for the best. Now we get to see the Stanley Cup raised on home ice here in Zug, wherever the hell that might be, as Mitchell Marner is actually going to win the Conn Smythe. 15 goals and 24 points, a very good playoff run, and a very unexpected one at that. I did not expect to see this guy raising the Conn Smythe Trophy. And there it is, the Stanley Cup about to be raised on home ice for the very first time to the 4-time Stanley Cup champion, Zug Gen Z, as McDavid yet again for the 4th time coming to lift the Stanley Cup as a Stanley Cup champion, as we are cementing ourselves as the greatest hockey team ever. Obviously, Mitch Marner is going to lead our team in goals and points for the playoffs with 15 and 24. Elias Pettersson had a very good playoff run with 22 points. Adam Fox had 21, Makar 20, Tkachuk 19, Pasternak 19. Ovi is going to win the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. The Maurice Richard obviously went to DeBrincat. Mike Green is going to win the Norris. The Conn Smythe will go to Mitchell Marner. The Vezina to Chris Osgood, as the Selke is going to go to Rod Brindamore of the Carolina Hurricanes, the current coach of Carolina. And here we go. We got our final season of the video. We are going to simulate one more year. Obviously, hopefully we go 5 for 5. We have one shot to do it here. So far in the video, we've been absolutely dominant, winning every season, finishing as the best team every season, as we should be, considering I am creating the greatest team of all time here at NHL 24. Oh, no surprise here. We are going to be the best team in our division, but actually probably the worst record of the video so far, 56, 20, and 6. Not a 60-win team. 118 points. We still would end up being the best team in the entire NHL, followed by the Washington Capitals. Anaheim obviously was up there, Ottawa, and San Jose. So, I mean, this is probably the best shot at another team winning the Stanley Cup. We are a wounded lion. Elias Pettersson is going to lead our team in scoring with 85 points, followed by McDavid, who had 83, Pasternak had 80, Adam Fox 80, and Matthew Tkachuk had 74. Pasta almost damn near had a 50-goal season. What did our goalies do? UC Saros went 45, 18, and 6, 4 shutouts, and I guess mediocre stats, as he is now our starting goalie. Hellebuck is either retired or is just awful right now. Dylan Strome is somehow going to sneak on the Washington Capitals and lead in scoring with 117. Followed by Ovi's 116. Farmer had 103. Backstrom 98. Alfredson 97. And Hamilton 94. On the goal side, Farmer is going to lead with 63 goals as a 19-year-old. Ovi had 61. Pasternak 49. Boys 46. Chris Kunitz had a 40-goal season. And here we go. This is our final playoff run of the video. We, in the first round, have the Winnipeg Jets. And luckily, we have made the Stanley Cup Finals for the 5th straight season up against the New Jersey Devils, who we already swept, I believe, in a previous season. So let's see if we can go 5 for 5, cementing our team as the greatest of the 2000s here in NHL 24. And we have done it. I have thrown together a team of all the current best players in the world, put them back in 2007, and we have absolutely dominated. We have just won our 5th straight Stanley Cup. So every single season that we simulated, we have won. And I'm willing to bet if I went 10 years or 15 years, we probably would do the same. The only thing that would really stop us is age and players getting older or retiring. Stuff like that. Like Connor Hellebuck no longer is on our team. He's not our starting goalie, as Elias Pettersson is going to win the Conn Smythe. 11 goals, 23 points for PD. We basically were on the backs of UC Saros, a brand new goaltender, and we still went on and won the Stanley Cup. So this is no doubt the greatest team in NHL 24, the greatest team of the 2000s, as we have gone 5 for 5, beating the Islanders' record of 4 straight Stanley Cups. And here he comes, McDavid, for one final time, coming to lift the Stanley Cup as the new generation of hockey players have fully dominated and have won 5 straight Stanley Cups. Now for the playoffs, Pettersson is going to lead, 11 goals, 23 points. He is the Conn Smythe winner. Adam Fox at 22, Jack Eichel 17, McDavid 17, Pasternak 16. Somehow Dylan Strome is going to win the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Farmer, the Maurice Richard, the Norris is going to go to Adam Fox. The Conn Smythe, obviously, to Pettersson. Dustin Wolf will, okay, I don't know why Dustin Wolf is winning the Vezina. Regardless, the Selke will go to Arnott. And that is going to do it for this video, boys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave some support on it. I actually thought of this video idea in my sleep. I was like, I've created the greatest team of all time before, but I've never thrown them in a different era, and I thought the new generation players versus the old gen would be a perfect storyline, and boy, did they ever deliver. 5 straight Stanley Cups, won every single season, dominated every season, best team in the regular season. Season, you get the point. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see next. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.